Andrew Lightheart Apps. I've been a local resident for about 24 years, grew up in Brisbane. There's a couple of things I don't know quite how to frame the questions. One is the sorts of large infrastructure development visions. We've had a number of iterations of them. Invariably, the stumbling block has been the $5, $10, $50 million that developers and council and state government fundings have to outlay. We're talking here about an overall figure of $250 million to realise the whole lot of what that's all about. If it's not going to fall over because of those big figures, I'm just wondering at which point you bring in the staging, the business plans and the staging of the smaller scales that developers and council and funding can realise. So it's not just hodgepodge, that they're capable of standing on their own legs. The smaller stage that you build towards this bigger picture. Right, so that's one question. How do you stage that so it doesn't just go good because of the big numbers that you're talking about? And the other is more in the area of community culture and community building through sporting and arts and educational culture. It's kind of mentioned there, but I'm aware that an awful lot of that can be done without a $250 million city development. So I'm wondering how you acknowledge that and embrace that, regardless of how soon that gets up.
Yeah, all right, good questions. I think fitting too that we finish one of those questions is a Matthew Atkins hot potato question. Just in terms of the staging of the project, Matthew, and when do you first turn us on?
Yes, I guess some of the earlier versions of the plans and the thinking that council had, it was very integrated and it was all reliant on doing this to do this to do this. And over the last 12 to 18 months, I guess that's evolved and we believe the plan is now getting to a point where we can get a start on a number of fronts. So we've got the multi-purpose building and the relocation of the Magistrates Court. Those things can start now and then that allows the retail to happen and the southern business precinct can grow when the demand's there. And all of that's there to go independent of the waterfront precinct. So there's been an intentional move to make clear stages, I guess, that we can get a start on. Then there's that challenge of getting the federal funding for the last part, and the ask there is 25 million, and we've talked about that tonight already. And I want just to put that in context, the Macquarie Point development in Hobart on the railway site, that recently got $50 million from the federal government. And I guess we argue that this has a similar impact, or will have a similar impact for the northwest as Macquarie Point will for Hobart. So that brings a bit of reality to that number.
In regards to the the learning part of it, Council actually tonight voted unanimously to create a learning community, especially work group, to change the attitudes of our community towards education, how we value education, how we can utilise that as a cornerstone to help build community capacity and involve the whole community in learning projects, etc. There's a whole vast amount of information and reports on becoming a learning community, but really involves education as a cornerstone. And part of that comes in with having a link in the middle of the civic building to make sure that we've got public access, easy public access to be able to get in and out of that. So that's one step the council has taken. It's taken it tonight, and it's about involving people. It's the part of the living city itself will become a learning community.